This is the story of Lester Ross. May 2009, 29-year-old Rakia Holmes drove halfway from Georgia to meet her child's father, Lester Ross, who lived in Haines City, Florida. She was meeting him to drop off their 3-year-old daughter, Sarah Ross. She needed him to watch her for the summer so she could focus on finishing school. And everything was okay until May 28th rolled around. That's when Sharon Ross, who is Lester's wife, got a call from Lester rushing her home. When Sharon made it back to the home, she found 3-year-old Sarah Ross deceased. When Sharon asked Lester what happened, he simply said it was an accident, but neither one of them called the police. Lester placed his 3-year-old daughter in a deep freezer, and that's where he left her. Now, when Rakia calls to check up on her daughter, Lester has to come up with a lie. He would tell her she's with a family member, she's on a play date, all the time she's with somebody else. Ronkisha must have really trusted her baby daddy because it wasn't until October 14th, the summer been over with, that's when she finally said, fuck it, I'm about to just drive down here to get my baby. On her way to Florida, she's calling Lester nonstop. She called her mother and her sister, telling them that, man, I can't even get in contact with this man. On October 18th, 4 days later, after he'd been ducking and dodging his baby mama, Lester told his wife, Sharon, to go to the store and get some rat poison and told her to melt the pellets on the stove. And she did exactly what he said. He then told her to mix the rat poison in with a bottle of Coke that they had in the refrigerator. And she did it. Lester finally picked up the phone for Rakia on the 18th. He told her to meet him in the parking lot of a Walmart. Rakia relayed this message to her mother and her sister, thinking, this is finally about to be over. She's about to get her baby. But Lester called back and said, you know what? Just come over to my house and get her. When Rakia got to Lester's house, he had told her that their daughter was on her way back home. While she waited, he offered her a glass of Coca-Cola. Rakia Holmes was dead within the hour. When Sharon returned home a few hours later, she seen Rakia's lifeless body in their home office. Lester forced her to help him carry Rakia and the 3-year-old to the trunk. He told her to drive to a orange grove in Winter Haven, and that's where he buried the mother and the daughter. When the two returned home, Sharon said that Lester tied a rope around her neck and told her if she ever told that he would kill her. That same night, Lester's cousin got pulled over for driving on suspended license, but he was driving Ronquilla's car. He told the police that he was driving the car to Daytona for Lester. Lester's cousin was being trailed, so when he got pulled over, the unidentified lady pulled over with him, which police didn't know at the time that was Lester's wife, Sharon Ross. They later found out in a jail call that Lester's cousin had made. He told the person on the phone that Lester told him to drop the car off and that Sharon will take him back to Florida. On October 20th, somebody from Rakia's phone made several calls to her mother and her sister trying to convince them that she is okay, that her car is an impound, and that she need help getting her car out of the impound. Rakia's mother said that she asked her daughter, when are you coming back? And all she said was, I'll be back, and hung up on her. And her mama like, nah, something's not right. She reported her missing that same day. On October 28th, Lester was called in for questioning for the whereabouts of Rakia and his 3-year-old daughter. He told them that he hasn't seen neither one of them since October 18th, when he met up with Rakia to drop off his daughter in a Walmart parking lot. He even told the police he didn't know why his cousin was driving Rakia's car and that he didn't have nothing to do with that. Even though the police had Rakia's phone on the same tower as Lester's, it still wasn't enough evidence to arrest him. It wasn't until December 20th of 2010 when the police called Sharon Ross in for yet another interview. But this time was different. This time, she confessed. She told the police that she feared for her life and that Lester had a long history of being physically abusive. She told the police where they were buried, and Lester was arrested the next day. But it would take another 2 years for the girls to be properly identified because they were skeletons, and neither one of them had dental records. Lester finally went to trial in 2015, and his wife and his cousin both testified against him. And there was one thing I forgot to mention. He told the police that somebody rode with him to Walmart to meet Rankia. It was a friend of his. And when the police questioned that friend said, I wasn't with him. And he also took a polygraph test and he passed. Lester Ross was found guilty on first-degree murder. He escaped the death penalty and got life without parole. Now, as for Sharon, I don't see anywhere where she had to do any time. And then I keep seeing two different stories. One story says she helped dispose of the body, and another story says she stayed in the car the entire time. Either way, do y'all think she should have got some time?